Lily sat in the back seat of her mom's car, arms crossed, earbuds in, staring out the window. She wasn't happy. They were on their way to her grandma's house in the countryside, a small house, far from the city, with no internet and barely any phone signal. Lily was 15 and couldn't imagine spending a whole weekend without her usual distractions. No TikTok, no group chats, no streaming, just birds, silence, and her grandma's old stories. "This is going to be so boring," she muttered. Her mum glanced at her in the mirror. "Give it a chance. Your grandma will be happy to see you." Lily didn't answer. She just turned up the music. An hour later, the car turned onto a narrow dirt road. Trees lined the sides, and wildflowers grew everywhere. Eventually, they pulled up in front of a small yellow house with a garden full of herbs and vegetables. Grandma was already on the porch, waving with both hands and a huge smile. "Lily, look how tall you've grown!" Lily gave a small smile and walked up to hug her. The hug was warm and smelled like cinnamon and fresh laundry. The inside of the house was just as she remembered: wooden furniture, old photos, shelves filled with cookbooks, and a big round table in the kitchen. Grandma handed her a glass of fresh lemonade. "I was thinking," she said, "maybe tomorrow we can cook something together." Lily shrugged. "I don't really cook." Grandma winked. "That's okay. You'll learn." Lily sipped the lemonade. It was sweet, but not too sweet, like something from another time. She didn't know it yet, but this weekend would be anything but boring. It would be full of flavor, memory, and something she never expected to find: a recipe for connection. Lily woke up to the sound of birds instead of alarms. No buzzing phone, no beeping notifications, just chirping outside her window and the smell of something warm, maybe bread or cake, drifting through the air. She sat up slowly, rubbing her eyes. The room was simple: a wooden bed, floral curtains, and a small desk with an old lamp. Her suitcase sat in the corner, half open. She checked her phone. No signal. Of course. She sighed, put the phone back down, and got dressed. Downstairs, Grandma was in the kitchen, humming to herself while kneading dough on the counter. The sunlight poured in through the windows, making everything glow golden. "Good morning, sleepyhead," she said without turning around. "Morning," Lily mumbled, sitting at the table. "There's tea in the pot and some fresh bread if you're hungry." Lily poured herself a cup and took a piece of the warm bread. It was soft, with a crispy crust. She took a bite, expecting it to taste plain, but it didn't. It was full of herbs and something sweet she couldn't name. "What's in this?" she asked. Grandma smiled. "A little rosemary, a little honey, and a lot of practice." Lily nodded, chewing slowly. The morning passed slowly. No traffic noise, no buzzing messages, no screens, just time. She helped pull weeds in the garden, watered the tomatoes, fed the chickens. It wasn't exciting, but it also wasn't as boring as she expected. There was a rhythm to everything, a calm Lily wasn't used to. In the afternoon they sat on the porch. Grandma knitted while Lily flipped through a book she found on the shelf, The Joy of Simple Cooking. It had old photos, handwritten notes, and even stains on the pages. "Did you use this a lot?" Lily asked. "Oh yes," Grandma said. "That book taught me more than school ever did." Lily looked at the pictures of pies and soups and stews. "Cooking seems hard." Grandma laughed. "That's what people say until they try. It's mostly patience and care. The rest is just learning." Lily leaned back in the chair and looked up at the blue sky. It was strange. She hadn't scrolled, tapped, or clicked all day. And yet she felt okay, maybe even good. That evening, after dinner, Grandma stood by the kitchen sink, drying her hands on a towel. "Tomorrow," she said, turning to Lily, "I'll teach you my favorite recipe, the one no one else knows." Lily raised an eyebrow. "Is it really a secret?" Grandma grinned. "Only for special people." Lily smiled back, just a little. Maybe this weekend wouldn't be so boring after all. The next morning, Lily woke to the sound of soft clinks and the smell of something frying. She sat up, stretched, and followed the sounds downstairs. Grandma was already in the kitchen, wearing an apron and tying her silver hair into a loose bun. The kitchen felt alive. The window was open, a gentle breeze moved the curtains, and something was sizzling in a pan. "Good timing," Grandma said with a wink. "Today's the big day." Lily yawned. "The big day?" Grandma smiled. "Time to learn the secret recipe." Lily raised an eyebrow, amused. "What is it, some kind of magic?" "In a way, yes," Grandma said, placing a cutting board on the table. "Magic made of flour, eggs, and memory." They started by gathering ingredients: eggs from the hen house, milk from the neighbor's farm, and fresh herbs from the garden. Lily followed Grandma, carrying a small basket and trying not to step on the garden stones. Back in the kitchen, Grandma laid everything out with care. "We're making something called bolo de lembranza," she said. "Memory cake?" Lily asked. Grandma nodded. "It's not in any book. My mother taught me, and now I'll teach you." They cracked eggs, mixed sugar, folded in flour. Grandma showed Lily how to beat the batter by hand, slowly and evenly. The rhythm was soothing, almost like a heartbeat. "Why don't you use a mixer?" Lily asked. "Because hands remember things better than machines," Grandma said, "and your hands are learning now." Lily didn't quite understand, but she liked the sound of it. As the cake baked, the whole kitchen filled with a warm, sweet smell, like vanilla, orange zest, and something comforting Lily couldn't describe. They sat while it baked, sipping tea. "You know," Grandma said, "this cake was the first thing I ever made for your grandfather." "Really?" "Yes, he said it tasted like childhood." Lily smiled. "That's kind of poetic." "He was that kind of man." Grandma stared out the window for a moment, and Lily saw something in her eyes, something soft and far away. When the timer rang, they jumped up and opened the oven. The cake was golden, puffed just right with tiny cracks along the top. Grandma touched it gently with her finger. Perfect. They waited for it to cool, then dusted it with powdered sugar. "Now comes the best part," Grandma said, cutting 2 slices. They sat at the table and took the first bite together. Lily closed her eyes. It was soft, sweet, citrusy, but also something else, something warm and emotional. She opened her eyes slowly. "This doesn't taste like any cake I've ever had." Grandma smiled. "Because it's not just a cake, it's a story." Lily looked at her. "Can you teach me again tomorrow?" Grandma chuckled. "Of course, but only if you write it down this time." Lily nodded, already reaching for her notebook. She didn't realize it yet, but something had started to change. Cooking wasn't just work. It was memory. It was love you could taste. And the old kitchen didn't feel so old anymore. It felt like home. After lunch, while Grandma rested in her rocking chair by the window, Lily wandered back into the kitchen. The smell of the memory cake still lingered in the air, sweet, familiar, and comforting. She looked around, noticing the little things she hadn't paid attention to before. The worn wooden spoons hanging on the wall, the tiny jars with handwritten labels, and a row of cookbooks on the shelf near the back door. One of them stood out. It was thicker, older, and wrapped in a faded red cloth. Curious, Lily pulled it down and unwrapped it gently. It wasn't a published cookbook. It was a notebook, handwritten, worn at the corners. its pages yellowed with time and covered in scribbles, doodles, and smudges of flour and oil. The first page read, "Recipes and Reminders, property of Rosa M. If found, please return to the kitchen." Lily smiled. As she flipped through, she saw more than just ingredients and instructions. Some pages had little notes in the margins. "Use the sweet oranges, not the sour ones. Trust me. Add extra cinnamon if it's winter." This one was Grandpa's favorite. There were even simple drawings: a pot with steam hearts, a loaf of bread with little legs running, and stick-figure kids stealing cookies from a tray. On one page, a small photo was taped beside a recipe for pão de esperança. The photo showed a young woman, Grandma much younger, smiling proudly beside a fresh loaf of bread. Lily stared at the picture. It was strange, seeing someone you loved from a time before you existed. She turned the page and saw an empty section labeled Next Generation. It was blank. No recipes. Just space. Lily paused. She reached for her pencil and carefully wrote, "Bolo de lembrança," passed down on a quiet Saturday morning, first made with Grandma, sweet, soft, with orange zest and stories in every bite. She looked at what she had written and smiled. Then at the top of the page she added, "Lily's notes." When Grandma returned to the kitchen a while later, she saw Lily at the table, bent over the book. She said nothing, just smiled. Some recipes don't need instructions. They just need someone to remember them. The next day began with sunlight pouring through the kitchen windows and the sound of quiet laughter. Lily and Grandma stood side by side at the counter again, this time preparing something called sopa da alma, soul soup. "What's in it?" Lily asked, tying her apron. Grandma smiled. "Vegetables, herbs, and a few memories." Lily chuckled. "You always say stuff like that." "Well," Grandma said, chopping onions, "food isn't just food. It holds moments." As they prepared the ingredients, Lily washed the carrots while Grandma peeled potatoes. "So," Lily asked, "what kind of memories are in this soup?" Grandma paused. "My mother used to make it every time someone in the family was feeling down. Sick, sad, tired, it didn't matter. This soup was her way of saying, 'I see you and I care.'" Lily nodded slowly. Grandma continued, "The first time I made it by myself, I was 15, just like you. My brother had a bad day at school. I wanted to cheer him up." "Did it work?" Grandma smiled. He smiled after the first spoonful. As they cooked, Grandma told more stories about her childhood, about her first job in a bakery, about meeting Lily's grandfather at a town fair. "He asked me if I liked lemon pie," she said, stirring the soup. "I told him I liked anything homemade, so the next week he brought me one. From a box." Lily laughed. "Did you still eat it?" "Of course. Love makes even boxed pie taste sweet." Lily began to realize that the kitchen wasn't just where food was made, it was where life happened. While the soup simmered, they sat at the table, sipping tea and watching steam rise from the pot. "Do you ever get tired of cooking?" Lily asked. "Sometimes," Grandma said, "but never when I'm cooking with someone." Lily looked down at her hands. They were covered in flour and parsley. She didn't mind. Later, when the soup was done, they served 2 bowls and sat down. Lily took her first spoonful and closed her eyes. It was warm and soft, full of flavor and calm, the kind of taste that felt like a hug. "I think I get it now," Lily said. "Get what?" Grandma asked. "Why you call food memory?" Grandma smiled. "It's the only kind of memory you can taste." After lunch, they cleaned the dishes together. Lily washed while Grandma dried. "You know," Lily said, "I kind of want to learn how to make everything in that red book." Grandma looked at her with quiet joy. "I'd like that very much." They spent the rest of the afternoon planning. Lily flipped through the recipe book, marking pages she wanted to try. They laughed about the messy handwriting and tried to guess which stains came from which dish. As the sun began to set, Lily realized something had changed, not just in the kitchen, but in her. She no longer wanted to be somewhere else. She was exactly where she wanted to be. Sunday lunch felt different from the others. This time, Lily wasn't just watching, she was leading. With Grandma by her side, she prepared the entire meal from scratch. They made roasted vegetables, hand-rolled pasta, and of course, a small version of the bollo de lembranza. Lily measured ingredients with care, stirred with patience, and smiled when flour dusted her shirt. She wasn't nervous now, she was proud. As the food finished cooking, they set the table together. Grandma placed fresh flowers in a jar, and Lily folded napkins into triangles like she'd seen in a restaurant once. The sun shone through the window just right, making everything feel like a moment out of a storybook. They sat down. Grandma closed her eyes and took a deep breath in. "Smells like Sunday," she said. Lily grinned. "Smells like success." They ate slowly. No phones, no rush, just the sound of forks, quiet laughter, and the occasional of approval. When it came time for dessert, Lily served the memory cake. It was slightly uneven and not as golden as Grandma's had been, but one bite in, Grandma smiled. "This," she said softly, "tastes like love." Lily blushed. "It's just cake." "No," Grandma said, shaking her head. "It's your cake. Your hands, your time, your attention, that's what people taste." Lily looked down at her slice. She remembered every step, the smell of the oranges, the texture of the batter, the moment she almost forgot the sugar. But more than that, she remembered the way it felt to cook with her grandma, not like a chore, but like a gift. She took another bite and let it sit on her tongue. It wasn't just delicious. It was hers. For the first time, Lily understood something that had always been said, but never felt real, until now. The best meals aren't made with perfect skills. They're made with care, with story, with love. That night, Lily sat in bed with the red recipe book on her lap. The house was quiet, the kind of quiet only the countryside offers. Crickets sang outside, and a soft breeze moved the curtains. She flipped through the pages slowly, stopping at her own handwriting from the day before. She traced the letters with her finger and smiled. Earlier, she and Grandma had sat together and added 2 more recipes to the next generation section. One for sopa de alma and one for roasted garden pasta, a name Lily came up with herself. "I never thought I'd enjoy cooking," Lily whispered. She pulled out her notebook from her backpack and started writing. "This weekend changed me in a way I didn't expect. I didn't learn just how to cook. I learned how to slow down, how to listen, how to care with my hands, not just my words." She paused, then added, "I also learned that Grandma is kind of a superhero." Lily looked around the room, at the wooden walls, the tiny bookshelf, the old lamp. She had arrived expecting boredom. Instead, she found connection, purpose, and warmth that no phone screen could give her. There was something sacred about the way Grandma moved through the kitchen, the way she tasted with intention, touched ingredients like they mattered, and told stories between each slice and stir. And now, Lily was part of that rhythm. She closed her notebook and set the recipe book beside it. Then she turned off the light, pulled the covers up and whispered, "Thank you, Grandma." Months later, Lily stood in her own kitchen at home, the red recipe book open beside her. Her mom sat at the table, watching with a curious smile, as Lily carefully poured cake batter into a round pan. The smell of orange zest and vanilla filled the air. When the bolo de lembranza came out of the oven, slightly cracked and warm, Lily cut 2 slices and placed one in front of her mother. They took a bite. Her mom closed her eyes. "It tastes like something special." Lily smiled. "It tastes like Grandma." And that, she knew, was the secret.